Good evening, book lovers of the internet. I am Book Nerd 802, and Kurt Cobain, the legendary singer of Nirvana, would have been 58 years old today had he survived, but he unfortunately died in 1994. And in this video, I am going to be reading to you the first three pages in the chapter Dave Grohl wrote about him in Dave's autobiography, The Storyteller. Now, as you might know, I am a massive Nirvana fan, and I've been listening to their music for a very, very long time now, so it's quite an emotional video to be making. To be completely fair with you, I have already recorded this video, but for some reason the audio was removed entirely. I don't know why, so I am doing it all over again. I was speaking with a couple of friends of mine earlier today, and they apparently don't know who Nirvana are, and I am going to make it my mission to let as many people as possible know about this band and recommend some of my favorite songs to them. But anyway, this is the moment during which Dave Grohl discovered that his best friend passed away, and it's very emotionally written, very raw, which is also why I love Dave Grohl's autobiography. I find myself returning to it during some of the most difficult and challenging moments of my life because if Dave Grohl made it through all of this, I'm sure that I can as well. I mean, he also very recently lost Taylor Hawkins, who was the drummer from Dave's band, the Foo Fighters. So, um, if Dave managed to make it through all that, I'm sure that I can make it through some difficult moments as well. But the chapter is called He Is Gone, and I'll be reading the first three pages. There is a lovely picture of Kurt Cobain towards the start of the chapter. What's interesting about Cobain is that despite how handsome he is objectively as a person, he never seemed to think of himself as all that. I mean, his humility was unprecedented, and honestly, he never really felt as though he took any good pictures of himself, but I, of course, completely disagree with him. So, this is the first part of the chapter that Dave Grohl wrote about Kurt Cobain. He's gone, Dave. My knees gave out and I dropped the phone as I fell to my bedroom floor, covering my face with my hands as I began to cry. He was gone, the shy young man who had offered me an apple upon our first introduction at the Seattle airport was gone. My quiet, introverted roommate, who I shared a tiny little apartment with in Olympia, was gone. The loving father who played with his beautiful baby daughter backstage every night before each show was gone. I was overcome with a more profound sadness than I had ever imagined. I couldn't speak, I couldn't think, I couldn't stand, I couldn't breathe. I could only picture his face, knowing that I would never see him again. I would never see his strange, flat fingers, or his skinny elbows, or his piercing blue eyes, because he was gone forever. Moments later, the phone rang again. Still on the floor, I answered, barely able to speak through the tears and hyperventilation. Hold on. He's not dead. He's still alive. I jumped up from the soft carpet with my heart racing wildly. Wait, are you sure? I asked frantically. Yes, he's still in the hospital, but he's gonna make it, Dave. He's gonna make it. In the course of 5 minutes, I had gone from the darkest day of my entire life to feeling born again. I hung up the phone. I was in shock. I was numb. I wanted to laugh, or cry, or have a complete nervous breakdown. I was in a state of emotional limbo. I didn't know what to feel. This was my first brush with death, and I was left utterly confused. I now knew the shattering pain of loss, but only for a brief moment before it was pushed aside like a hideous prank. My process of mourning was forever changed. From that day forward, losing someone close to me became a complicated exercise in waiting for that call to tell me that it was all just a mistake, that everything was fine, and then begging the pain to come to the surface when the phone never rang. You cannot predict a person's sudden passing, but there are certain people in life that you prepare yourself to lose for whatever reason. You foolishly try to protect yourself by building a wall around your heart as a sort of preemptive defense mechanism so that when you get that call, you are prepared somehow, like being emotionally vaccinated. You have already built up an immunity to their inevitable passing. But this never works. It was March 3rd, 1994, when I woke up that morning in Seattle to the news that Kurt had overdosed in a hotel room in Rome. I immediately turned on the news and saw images of him strapped to a gurney as he was being rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. So I frantically began calling everyone on our team to see what was going on, praying that it was just another accidental overdose, something that had happened before. There was confusion and conflicting reports. Some were painfully dire, some were encouraging, but no matter how much I wanted to be there, I was 5,000 miles away feeling totally helpless. After all, I had just seen Kurt 2 nights before in Munich, playing what would tragically become the last Nirvana show. From that day forward, I built my walls higher, and 36 days later, they closed in. News of Kurt's death came early in the morning on April 8th, though this time it was real. He was gone. There was no second phone call to right the wrong, to turn the tragedy around. It was final. I hung up the phone and waited for that same shattering pain to bring me to my knees again, but it didn't come. It was stuck somewhere deep within me, blocked by the trauma from a month before when I had been left in a state of conflicted emotional confusion. I don't remember much of that day other than turning on the news and hearing his name over and over again. Kurt Cobain, Kurt Cobain, Kurt Cobain. Each time his name was said, it slowly chipped away at the armor that I had designed to guard my heart. Kurt Cobain, Kurt Cobain, Kurt Cobain. I waited for the armor to be pierced, sending me to the floor one more time, but I wouldn't let it. I fought back, too afraid to feel that pain again. Kurt was more than just a name to me. He was a friend. He was a father. He was a son. He was an artist. He was a human being. And over time, he became the center of our universe, the point that our entire world orbited. But he was still just a young man with so much to look forward to. We had so much to look forward to. So, those were the first 3 pages of Dave Grohl's chapter after discovering that his best friend had died. And the way Dave speaks about this is that whenever he is confronted by people who are fans of his and they ask him how he felt after Cobain passed away, it's almost as though he goes up to someone and he knows that, for instance, their mom has passed away and he tells them to tell them all about it, basically. Even though it's just happened, it's always some sort of spear to the heart, and it's always heart shattering for him. I can't imagine what he's been through. Um, Honestly, I do empathize quite a lot with Dave Grohl. I am a huge admirer of his. I love Foo Fighters. I love Nirvana. It's more about the passion and the energy rather than about the lyrics themselves necessarily. There was such a vibe going on. In the 1990s, and I can completely understand why people were head over heels about this band. But yeah, that is all I had to say on this anniversary of Kurt Cobain's birthday. Um, if you have any fun facts or weird facts you would like to share with me about Nirvana, please do so in the comment section. I always love learning new things about this band because I do love everything about them. I'm still not an expert, and I do wish to teach my friends more about this band as well because I want to have something in common that we can speak with. And I do listen to this band very, very frequently, but um, I still don't know everything, quite frankly. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, even though that's not really too important, especially since this is an appreciation video of Kurt Cobain and Dave Grohl as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully, very, very soon. Bye, guys.